TT Meets TT episode 16, the Scottish Roadster.
Hi all, and here and welcome back to another episode of TT Meets TT. This week it's Peter from Scotland with his gorgeous Glacier blue Audi TT Mod 1 Roadster. Peter is a subscriber to the channel and he's also very active on Instagram, so I'll leave a link to Peter's Instagram in my video description. I haven't been able to see Peter's car in the flesh as of yet due to the distance, as Peter is over 600 miles away from me. However, we decided to conduct this episode of TT Meets TT remotely with the power of the internet. This is episode 16 of TT Meets TT, so there's another 15 episodes for you to catch up on, so please do check out my back catalogue. Right, that's enough from me, let's take a look at Peter's car. Hi Peter, how you doing? Right.
Yeah, fine Andy, how's yourself? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Yeah, we meet or speak at last. Yeah, how you been anyway? All right? How's your week been?
Yeah, fine. Quite busy going. A few things to do with the car and that as well, so that's good. Keeps me out of mischief.
So anyway, Peter, tell me a bit about your lovely Roadster.
Yeah, so I've picked up in March this year, so I've not had it too long. A bit of an impulse buy. I was looking for a second car and I wanted something a bit different, something a bit nice, to be honest. It came up on one of the adverts you see on the marketplace type things. Dropped him a message, went to see it. As soon as I seen it, absolutely loved it. Took it out, basically came back the next day with some money and took the car off his hands.
So that is literally your first TT, is it? You've not had a TT before. That's your very first TT.
No, first two-seater car as well.
Okay.
I've always had coupes, hatchbacks, estate cars. Never had a Roadster or anything like it. So, yeah, it was interesting when I first got it. It was something different.
And what sort of condition was it in when you picked it up?
Totally standard, apart from it had a ram air filter. Everything else was totally standard on it. Quite low mileage as well, which appealed to me. And, yeah, it was used as a summer car basically all its life.
So I noticed that you've got it on the drive. So is it garaged overnight, or is it out to the elements?
No, it's outside, bearing the winter at the moment. It'll hold up, I think.
I'm sure it will.
It's had some treatment in that, so the whole underside's been treated and that.
Right.
Just to give it a bit of a chance through the winter. Did ponder on whether I was going to take it off the road for winter, but you'd have the whole, what happens when you put it back on the road? Is my battery going to be okay? Is there anything I need to worry about when it comes back? So, yeah, just keep it going.
Yeah, it's one of those cars, I think, now that you can bite the bullet and say, I'm going to keep it going. And they're going to get eaten away at some point by the elements. So you've either got to enjoy them and drive them. And most of the people I know that have got Roadsters, they do drive them all year round. And they always say, you buy these cars to drive them, not to store them. So when you picked up the car, was there much history behind it? What sort of life has it had?
It spent most of its life down south, so mostly in England, and it only came up to Fife in Scotland 2 years ago. The person I bought the car off of bought it solely to go on the NC 500. He wanted a nice car to take on that route. So he bought it for that, went all the way down south to pick it up, brought it back, took it to that, stored it for the rest of the winter, and then put it up for sale in the summer. It's got most of its service history. It's had everything it needed done. Cam belt change and everything had been done on it. So yeah.
So I noticed from taking a look around your car, it's got some quite nice subtle features. I think you've added to it. So it's got I noticed it's got a carbon fuel flap with some very light blue screw heads as well, holding it in place. So that's quite nice. And you've also got a Miltech exhaust, I noticed, on the back.
Yeah.
So is that something you've had fitted, or was that already on there?
Yeah, I fitted that. When I first got the car, I took it to my friend's garage and he'd done a health check on it. And the only things he picked up was the exhaust was probably going to start blowing fairly soon. And the usual PCV splits, couple of splits and that were found. So I thought, well, if I'm going to replace the exhaust, I'll get something a bit nice. So
that's a full system, is it? Not just a back box, you've got a full Miltech.
It's a catback.
Okay, it's catback. Okay. Yeah. You mentioned there about the PCV system. So I noticed you've actually got a catch can fitted on yours. So you've So you've done away with the PCB as such, and you've put a catch can on. Is that a Billy Cloud catch can? Don't mention the sticker.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's still got the sticker on it, but yeah, no, it is. And they're not the easiest things to fit in the TT if you don't take the manifold off at the front. It's tight.
I can see. I think young Carl Chris has done a video on fitting a catch can. I think in his Mark One. But I noticed yours is a 180 from the look of the rear diffuser, and there's no sort of extra charge pipe under there. So it's a 180, not 150. It's definitely a 180. Yeah.
150.
Oh, it's a 150. It is a 150.
150,
Okay.
yeah.
So don't see many 150s around, and it's
no, they're getting quite rare, I believe.
So have you had any performance work done? I see you've got a ram air filter in there as well. Anything else done under the bonnet?
Replaced the ram air that I had for the extra large one, so it fills up more of the gap, more air to come into it. It's got the oversized turbo inlet hose as well, and it's got a stage 1 remap, which is near enough the same as a 180. A 150 and a 180 when it comes to remaps is pretty much the same. There's not much difference if you have the KOS3 turbo. Some 150s just have a KO3 turbo, I believe. It's not an S, it's slightly smaller. But I was lucky on mine, it actually has the same turbo as the 180. So same output, basically.
You've got some nice little billeted aluminium parts, I noticed, under the bonnet as well. So you've got, the washer bottle's done, and I think your oil cap's done, and I think your top mounts are covered as well with billeted aluminium.
Yeah, and VIN cover and that as well.
And also your washer bottle, your washer bottle, the washer fluid bottle's got the cap on it as well. That looks like it's come off a door, the inside of a door. They've got those little round discs. So if we look inside your car, I notice there's a nice few bits of carbon bling in there as well. So that's all been fitted by yourself, I guess?
Yeah, just wanted to keep it quite subtle though. And I've seen the full kits you can get where you can replace the whole climate control console right up to the flap. Even under the windscreen and that, I've seen carbon sort of tubing that goes around the windscreen and that. But just little accents here and there to go with the V6 spoiler extension, the fuel flap. Just little bits to accent it and make it sort of pop out a bit more.
Yeah, so I noticed you've got the instrument bezels done in carbon. You've also done the radio flap in carbon, and that's quite interesting because when you open that radio flap, sitting behind there is not a 2002 cassette player by Bose. It's a different head unit. So what head unit have you got put in there?
It's the Pioneer one. It's got the pull-out bit for the phone holder as well.
Okay.
That's what appealed to me more. I've seen the different ones. You can get the 3D printed phone holders and things, but I've seen the head unit was incorporated into it, and I thought, yeah, that's quite nice. Makes it a bit more modern as well. It's not got the CarPlay, the Google or the Apple CarPlay, but yeah, it does what it needs to do. It's fine for my needs anyway, definitely.
Absolutely. And you've got some lovely mats on actually in the car as well, some diamond stitch mats. That's quite a nice little feature. Illuminated by your bright red lights as well.
That was actually a feature in the car when I bought it. Yeah, I might change that at some point. It's a bit too bright at night sometimes. If you're looking at your side windows when you're trying to reverse, the reflection of the light makes it really difficult sometimes. And they don't dim. If I was able to dim them, if I changed it to the dimmer, it'd maybe...
There you go. There's a little project. There's always a TT project somewhere. So there you go. Dimmable interior lights. That's one for you can add into that. You mentioned about the rear spoiler. So that's a 3.2 rear spoiler you've got on the back of the car.
It's an aftermarket carbon fibre one. So
it's only the lip. It's only the lip. Is it the stick-on lip? Right.
Yeah. So a bit of tiger seal and some 3M tape just to secure it in place just now. But it's carbon fibre. It's so light. It was... If it wasn't attached, it would definitely float away, put it that way.
Yeah. If you're going to change the 3.2 rear spoiler, this is just a tip for people out there. That it's always worth buying a boot lid as well. Or do as Peter's done and actually just buy the lip that goes round it. Because if you are going to try and unbolt the original spoiler and replace it with 3.2, it's a world of pain, let's just say. So it's always worth swapping that boot lid out with it too. So that's a good compromise you've got there, Peter, by just adding the lip. So, well, speaking of which, because looking at your wheels, I think you've got a set of Quattro Sport Wheels on your car. Are they originals or are they aftermarket?
No, originals. So again, that's probably half the value of my car.
Very nice too. I think they make a massive difference to the look of the car. No matter what car you've got, I think a set of Quattro Sport wheels on the car will always look amazing. So that's a really nice touch. And you've also got some nice accents there with the Audi logos, I noticed, on the side skirts too.
Yeah, again, just little subtle things. I try to keep it as OEM plus, so try and keep it as original as it can be, but still have that little bit of look at it and say, well, that's a bit different. Well, that looks quite nice. It's Glacier blue.
Glacier blue. Do you know, it looks, and I was going to say, that would be my next call. And I've seen quite a few Glacier blue ones around, but this looks really grey compared to a lot of those. Glacier blue is a very strange colour because it shows up so many different colours in different lights. So there you go. It fooled me. I thought it was Ava silver and it's Glacier blue.
Yeah, I got the Spats as well. They're the Bully Cloud Spats to go with the wheels. I think especially with the back ones having that slight width compared to the fronts, it accents it really well.
The Spats give you that extra Quattro Sport feel as well.
Yeah. I think it was Ben in the North seen his Roadster with the same sort of idea, the QS themed on his, and the colour as well. It's just such a nice car.
Yeah. Ben, I've seen Ben's car a few times actually, and he's got some. It's a great looking car. And he started with a 225, and then he went to the 3.2. He sort of went to the dark side with myself. But they're all great cars. I noticed on your brakes that you've got some groove discs on there, so that's obviously an upgrade on the disc at some point. Is that something you fitted, or was that already on the car?
Yeah, that's the rear. That's the Brembo Max slotted discs on the back. I was a bit worried doing it. I've never done discs before. Watched some videos online. Car Chris, Dom at Parrot Bros, they've got a couple of good videos on changing discs and that. And yeah, I watched it, done it, and that's good. I've got Brembo discs on the front, but they're just solid ones. So that should do me for a while anyway.
But with a lot of these jobs, and there's so many good videos around now that you can normally find out how to do it online. There's normally a way to do it, and you just really need a bit of confidence to give it a go. Yeah. And you could do these things, and that's great to know that you've said yourself, that you'd never done brakes before, but you've been able to watch some of the videos from the guys. You've cracked it, which is great to hear. Well, Peter, thank you very much for showing me around your car this evening. If you've got any questions for Peter, please leave them in the comments. I'm sure we'll be more than delighted to answer them for you. So yeah, thanks again, Peter.
No problem, Andy. You take care now. Speak to you soon.
Peter, thanks once again for taking the time to share your car with me. I'm sure next year we'll get together at one of the upcoming meets so I can see the car for myself. If you like what you've seen today, then please do think about giving this video a thumbs up, and also think about subscribing to my channel, where you'll find a whole host of content on the Audi TT Mark 1. If you too would like to feature your car on TT Meets TT, I am looking to start a second series of this in the new year, so please do get in touch with me at the address on screen now. As always, thanks for watching and see you soon. Take care.